If you're planning a move to the Dayton area, there's one mistake I see relocation buyers make over and over again. They fall in love with the house before they really understand the town. So today we're walking through 6 towns that relocation buyers consistently compare when moving to the Dayton and Cincinnati corridor: Lebanon, Middletown, Monroe, Springboro, Xenia, and Mason. Each one offers something very different, and by the end of this video, you should have a much clearer idea which one might actually fit your move. Let's start with Lebanon. Lebanon is one of the most recognizable historic towns in Southwest Ohio. If you picture a classic small town setting with a walkable downtown, locally owned shops, and well-preserved architecture, the historic downtown district is really the centerpiece here. Brick streets, independent restaurants, antique shops, and landmarks like the Golden Lamb Inn, which has been operating since the early 1800s, gives the town a character that's difficult to replicate in newer suburbs. Lebanon also hosts a number of community events throughout the year, which reinforces that traditional small-town atmosphere many buyers are looking for. From a location standpoint, Lebanon sits in a strategic position between Dayton and Cincinnati. Typical commute patterns look like this: about 25 to 35 minutes to Dayton, about 35 to 45 minutes to Cincinnati. Lebanon sits right off Interstate 71, which makes traveling to either city relatively straightforward. Housing here is a mix of historic homes near downtown and newer developments on the outskirts of town. Price points here typically start in the mid-300s for many move-up homes, while larger properties and custom builds can reach well into the higher price ranges, depending on the neighborhood. Many buyers are drawn to Lebanon because of the sense of place and community identity. It's one of the few towns in the region where the downtown area truly feels like the center of daily life. The trade-off is the commute distance. If you're working closer to Dayton or Wright Pat, the drive will be longer than some of the northern suburbs. Next is Middletown. Middletown appeals to a very different type of buyer compared to Lebanon. This is often the town people start exploring when they want to stretch their housing budget while staying within the Dayton and Cincinnati corridor. Middletown sits directly along Interstate 75, which makes commuting to both Dayton and Cincinnati fairly convenient. Typical commute times look like about 25 minutes to Dayton and about 35 minutes to Cincinnati. You're also within a short drive of the Liberty Township retail corridor, which includes shopping centers, restaurants, and major retailers. Housing here includes a wide range of options. You'll find established neighborhoods with mid-century homes, properties with larger lots, and some newer developments as well. Many buyers appreciate the additional square footage that they can often find here compared to some of the surrounding suburbs. Price points here often start in the low to mid-200s, while larger homes or updated properties can move into the higher ranges depending on the neighborhood. For many buyers, the biggest appeal is simply value. The amount of home you can purchase at certain price points can look very different compared to the nearby suburbs. The trade-off to understand is that the overall housing stock and neighborhood styles vary more widely than in some of the newer suburbs. Middletown works best for buyers who prioritize space and affordability while still maintaining access to the interstate corridor. Now let's talk about Monroe. Monroe has grown significantly over the past couple of decades and tends to attract buyers looking for newer homes and convenient access to the interstate. Many relocation buyers appreciate the fact that a lot of the homes here were built more recently, which can mean fewer immediate renovation projects. Monroe sits directly along Interstate 75, making it easy to travel north to Dayton or south to Cincinnati. Typical commute times here look like 30 minutes to Dayton and about 35 minutes to Cincinnati. You're also extremely close to the Cincinnati Premier outlets and the larger Liberty Township retail corridor. Many neighborhoods in Monroe consist of newer subdivisions built within the last 20 to 25 years. Homes often feature modern layouts with open kitchens, larger family rooms, and floor plans designed for contemporary living. Price points here often begin in the mid 200s to low 300s, while larger homes or newer builds can move into the higher price ranges depending on the subdivision. Buyers relocating from other states often appreciate Monroe because the homes feel move-in ready and they're relatively modern compared to the older housing stock in some of the nearby towns. One trade-off is that Monroe has less of a historic downtown environment compared to places like Lebanon. Monroe tends to appeal to buyers prioritizing convenience, newer housing, and interstate access. Springboro. Springboro is one of the fastest growing communities in the Dayton, Cincinnati corridor, in my hometown. Many buyers here choose Springboro because it offers a modern suburban environment while still providing strong access to both cities. Springboro sits directly along Interstate 75, which makes commuting surprisingly manageable. Typical patterns include about 20 minutes to downtown Dayton and about 40 to 45 minutes to Cincinnati. This location flexibility is one reason relocation buyers frequently consider Springboro. Much of Springboro's growth occurred over the last 2 decades, so many neighborhoods feature newer homes with modern layouts. Communities like Settlers Walk and Heatherwood offer larger homes with open floor plans and finished basements and suburban neighborhood amenities. Price points tend to start in the mid-400s for many move-up homes, while larger properties and custom builds can reach well into the higher price ranges depending on the neighborhood. Buyers often like Springboro because it offers a balance of location, newer homes, and suburban convenience. Shopping, dining, parks, and grocery stores are easily accessible. The trade-off is that Springboro has grown quickly, so some areas feel more suburban and less historic compared to older towns like Lebanon. Springboro works well for buyers seeking modern, suburban living with strong resale demand. Moving to Xenia. Xenia often comes into the conversation when buyers are prioritizing proximity to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. This town offers a practical option for buyers who want a shorter commute to the base while still having access to outdoor recreation. From many areas of Xenia, you're looking at roughly 12 to 15 minutes to Wright-Pat. That proximity is a major advantage for buyers working at the base. Housing in Xenia includes a mix of established neighborhoods with ranch-style homes and newer developments towards the edges of town. Price points here often begin in the low to mid-200s, while newer homes can move into the higher price ranges depending on the development. Xenia is also known for its bike trail system, which connects one of the longest trail networks in the country. It's also only about 10 minutes from Yellow Springs, which offers parks, hiking, and a very unique local culture. The trade-off is that the town itself is quieter than some of the more suburban areas. Finally, let's talk about Mason. Mason is one of the most established suburban communities in the Cincinnati region and is often associated with larger suburban neighborhoods and extensive amenities. Mason sits just off Interstate 71, making commuting into Cincinnati relatively easy. However, if you're commuting north towards Dayton or to Wright-Pat regularly, the drive will be longer. Housing in Mason often consists of larger suburban homes with master plan neighborhoods. Many communities feature walking trails, neighborhood pools, and other suburban amenities. Price points here typically begin in the mid-400s, while larger homes in established neighborhoods and luxury communities can move well into the higher price ranges, depending on the location. Buyers often choose Mason because of its amenities and established suburban environment. Major attractions like Kings Island and regional events bring visitors to the area throughout the year. The trade-off is simply distance if your commute is toward Dayton. Mason tends to work best for buyers who want a highly developed suburban environment closer to Cincinnati. So here's a quick way to think about all these towns. Historic charm, Lebanon. Stretch your housing budget, Middletown. Newer homes and convenience, Monroe. Strategic commuter suburb is Springboro. And close to Wright-Pat, Xenia. High amenity suburban environment, Mason. Each one offers a different combination of lifestyle, location, and price point. So if you're relocating to Southwest Ohio, understanding these differences can make a huge impact on finding the right long-term fit. If you want help narrowing down which towns will actually match your commute, budget, lifestyle goals, grab the Dayton relocation guide below and let me know in the comments which town stood out to you. And if you're planning a move to the Dayton area, I'd love to help you build a strategy for your relocation. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.